Angela, there's a movie trope that we've probably all seen where some politician or administrator has a prepared statement and they go up to the podium and they start to kind of read from the prepared statement, and then they just pause and they kind of throw it away, and then they just get in the moment and get real and just start giving genuine commentary. And we saw that today with you. You pulled an Elvis on us. Because I don't think you wrote that speech exactly like that. And I saw you, like, literally, you had your notes, and we talked about last night that you might need to lean on notes. I saw you put them away and then just blacked out and went and did your whole thing. And what you brought in a second speech was what I think some of us chase for our whole kind of speaking careers, which is that tapping into that raw human emotion, being in the moment, and connecting with everybody through empathy. And I think, like, you brought that to life in this, and it was felt, and people recognized it, and you were very, very genuine, and it flowed, and it was graceful in terms of how you executed it. And when we talked last night, I was not prepared for what you delivered today. I thought it was going to be like just sort of stumbling and and you would have notes, and you weren't exactly sure exactly how it's going to flow, but you killed it. The other thing that I would want to call out that I think you did really well is towards the end, after you got through kind of the meat of it, and you felt you had your points made, and I thought, okay, the last 30 seconds or so we're coasting on fumes. It's going to be recycled ideas and finishing out what you've kind of already given us, right? But you had another story, and you had another great kind of punch at the end in terms of just the sentiment from your son and his comment back towards you. So you kept it going. Like it didn't trail off at the end. You had another really strong point. In terms of things that I think you could do to enhance something like this and to improve on this speech, one, and it's always a personal preference of mine that I always call out, is when people become self-aware in the speech and talk about the speech, saying, I wrote this speech. It makes us think we're watching a speech rather than kind of being in the moment. Or even the opening, which I think you sort of said this isn't a lecture, and you kind of talked a little bit about staging it. I think it would have been more effective to open with the story of maybe of your son and the situation. Set up a problem for us, a difficult scenario that is unresolved. Then, so you go from the specific to the general and kind of your journey and thought process, and then back to the specific to close it out and finish the way you did. And I think that story arc would have been better than sort of the framing of telling us about what you're going to tell us, and let us feel and just emote, and let us just be able to absorb what you're giving us and draw those conclusions on our own. But otherwise, I mean, I was amazed. Like, I was blown away in terms of just the personal story and the way you told it, the flow, and how natural it was and how engaging it was. So for a second speech, like, awesome, great job. More specifics perhaps would always help, and being able to kind of focus on just the storytelling and not reflecting in the speech on the speech. And you do those couple things, and I think it'll be even better. But it was a great speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you.